Good morning. Today I will drive to Reglass. Reglass is our mast manufacturer for the Point-7 Masts, and they're based in Bologna, so here in Italy. It's close to a 2-hour drive, so not very far, and that's one of the reasons why we decided to work with Reglass, so we can have the production very close to us, which is very important for the development of the sail and mast as an integrated rig. Knowing that we can have an experience from a factory which is producing masts since 40 years is what makes us feel comfortable to have the latest innovation, the latest technology, tooling, materials, and people who are also windsurfing, so easy to talk to because they understand the needs of what you're looking for on the water when matching it with the sails. So this is just a few of the reasons why we work with them, and so I will take you with me while I'm going to go drive there. Claudio, which will be with us during our visit and introduce us to the whole manufacturing process, will a little bit give you, while he's driving to the factory, the history of Reglass and why they're still based in Italy. So Claudio, I leave you the word. I see you very soon.
Quite an exciting day because we are waiting for a customer that is also a champion, that is also a friend, and his name is Andrea Cucchi, the owner of Point-7. And so I just go inside the car because it's quite noisy here. Yeah. So before anything else, Andrea asked me to introduce a little bit the company and the history behind this company that's manufacturing masts since many years. The company, Andrea, was founded in the late 70s by three brothers, Pirazzini family. So it's a managed and owned company, private company. They were already running a business in the pole fishing industries. And so instead of just trading them, they decided to accept the challenge to manufacture them directly. Now, why in this small town, comparatively small, of Italy, they decided to use this technology? Well, because that was the peak, the pinnacle of the technology at the moment. Fiberglass was just introduced into the market. By the way, the same name, Reglass, is like internet, one of these composite name, English, Italian. Re means king and glass means glass. So they sort of king of the glass. And fiberglass was recently introduced in those years by the racing car industries. We have our company in a land that is called Motor Valley because all the manufacturer of super sport cars are here. Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bugatti before they went to bankruptcy, Pagani, Dallara, Maserati, all these cars were making their new bodies in fiberglass. There was a new peak. Then carbon was introduced, and so they decided to enter into this business because there were opportunities. It was knowledge. Knowledge was spreading around this area. And so the company was founded, and they started to manufacture first fiberglass, then carbon. But the step towards from fishing poles to the mast manufacturing industries was just by a stroke of luck for us, windsurfer, and by chance for the owner that was just in the center of the city, Bologna, full at the time of a windsurfing shop, as it was when in the 80s windsurfing was at its peak and everybody was doing this cool sport. We saw a long pole, very long pole, that big pole, I would say, that was not a pole but was a mast. And I suppose that the look-like of this mast was like the one I started windsurfing, half aluminum, maybe half epoxy. Mine was pinky, I remember. It was quite... So he decided to buy one and to replicate it in carbon to see if they could do the same thing in carbon, and it all started there. So the first ever carbon mast ever produced on planet Earth was by Luca Pirazzini, that decided to start this business, and there was demand at the time. So all the manufacturers, all the brands that still are alive today came to have their their mast made in carbon. So that was the start of everything, I would say. Then globalization changed a little bit thing, but the company decided to maintain the production completely in Italy. I would say that was a decision made, it was a decision made by the family to stay in Italy and to keep their working force and not to get there. Maybe it was not at the time the best decision in terms of margin, in terms of profit, because the time was good, but well, things are what they are. We still produce in Italy. We have our manufacturing controlled by ourselves in all stages that I will introduce and I will explain to Andrea in full details. So Andrea, this is the little bit of introduction of the company. Now I start the engine, I stop making this video, I will send it to you, and we will meet there. Ciao!
So Claudio, tell us about what's happening here. This is the start, correct?
Yeah, this is the start where a roll of raw material, a specific raw material for a given project, is being loaded to the cutting machine that is automatic. It has inside, of course, all the information coming from the project, the software that cuts the various parts and layers that will be underposed and overposed in the mandrel. So this machine cuts for a specific project, whatever it is needed to manufacture the given tube or mast or anything.
As we were talking about also fishing rods before.
Yes, fishing rods, but we also produce parts for the nautical environment.
Yes, because we have to say that this area is specifically just for, like, say, water sports, right?
Yes, yes, water sports. Well, we have to say that we also produce ski poles, top-level ski poles. We, for example, we made the Rossignol Olympic ski poles. Everything that is needed to have a certain specification and quality, then we made them here. So this is an area that is climatized, and the environment has to
Which is very important, the climate inside the warehouse is extremely important, right?
Humidity has to be kept a certain level, temperature has to be kept a certain level.
Otherwise the production error can already occur from this.
Absolutely. Yeah. We try to limit, as the environment is cleaner, to try to limit as possible anything that can hurt the production itself.
I understand. And how important is the material that you actually use? Well, I mean, I think there are a lot of different qualities, a lot of different, because often for a client a mast is black, right? Yes. And what's inside and how it's produced can be very different in the end from one product to the other, but because they see it black.
Yes, the thing is this one, it's like, well, since we are in Italy, I can say, well, we can make this metaphor like usual. I ate a pizza, okay, but where did you make it? Which ingredient did you make? How did you make it? Where did you put pineapple on top of it? I mean, when you say I have 100% mast, you only say that this mast should, moment of silence, should have no fiberglass inside. Our mast, if it is 100%, it's 100%, so it doesn't have any fiberglass. But the type of different material used can completely change the scenario. We use 35 different type of carbon to manufacture various things that we have. And this is extremely, makes a lot of a difference. The fact that we make our pre-preg as well, we use a certain type of resin, the content of resin itself and the way that you process everything can change completely. A 100% mast can be completely different from another 100% mast.
Yes.
Just for the way that the different layer that you use, the different type of material is not. It's not true that I use the best carbon available, the ultra high module. Well, it could be good, it couldn't be good.
Yeah,
you have always to remember.
You made me some masts which are hyper reactive, and they were like, the reaction was super fast, and in the end in windsurfing they were like even too much because you couldn't actually handle this fast reaction. And
yes,
so
it also depends how do you use it and
for which discipline.
exactly, that is the point. And what I, for the expert sailmaker like you, when we have a discussion, the point is that I never forget, as a mast manufacturer and a windsurfer myself, that a sail, a mast is nothing without a sail. It's like two dancers, if you want, two classical, that they have to work together.
Yes.
You can have the best mast for the specific application, but with a different fabric of the sails, for foil or not.
Because now for the foil, as you mentioned, we actually made a different line.
Yes.
Using different carbon.
Different carbon.
Which you couldn't actually use for the fin because that's too reactive, and also you could say maybe more fragile perhaps, or not?
Yeah, well, the thing is that if you go higher on the module of the elasticity module of a fiber, costs go higher, but also is more fragile. When I say more fragile, it doesn't mean that you take it, you break it like this. It means that it's more prone to breakage if it hits a sharp edge.
Of course, the masts are not made to be hit stuff, so you have to take care anyway. So
yes, and another thing that I would like to say in general, that is the bad things of carbon. Carbon is like the windscreen of your car, it's like glass. If you're hit by a stone in your windscreen, you see a crack that over time breaks.
Yes.
In carbon, it happens the same thing, but you don't see anything.
Exactly.
So sometimes there are customers, they say, I have it from 1 year and the mast suddenly broke when I was just rigging it. I'm sorry to say that something has happened. You might not even before. You might not even been, you didn't notice,
but something has happened before. Yeah, so it's hard to relate it to that it happened just now.
Yeah, I would say that I know that there are warranties, and we are in a world that warranties is very important. But I can say from a producer that if the mast is used, has been used 10, 15 times, it doesn't break, the mast is okay.
Yes.
Whatever happens after that period, okay, you have a warranty, but something wrong has happened. A catapult and just throwing the mast or just letting on the ground. It's carbon. Carbon is delicate.
Yes, for sure. So here we get the first part, which are the first carbon which are getting cut. Plotter.
Plotter, yes.
Yes. And from here, where do we move to?
Well, all the things are combined together. We just put them all the carbon layers together, and after we move into a line where mast, lathe, and we deposit the first layer of directional carbon, and these are in operation. This is what we do as a first step. We also have, you can see the naked mandrel actually, where the first operation is made, where all the things that were cut before in the plotter are used to wrap inside the mandrel. Actually, this is called wrapping technology, and this is the reason why.
So this is like a press.
Yes, it's a press. Yes.
So the roll is, the carbon is put over this mandrel, and then with the press is being pressed onto the mandrel.
Yes, to the press. The mandrel, of course, carbon. The reason is sticky. It sticks around the mandrel.
Yes. So we're just seeing it live, which is really cool.
Yes.
Nice.
And this is the one direction, and of course the numbers of layers, of course, that you can see the operator is using depends on the project. Of course, there are a few numbers. It depends, 3, 4, 5. Depends on the project and the application.
So it's very interesting because in the end, our windsurfing gear is actually custom made.
Yes, absolutely.
When when we see the sales as well. You know, they're handmade in the end, and there's a lot of handwork, labor here also at the mast. I mean, she's putting the layers herself on the mast, so it really has to be done really precisely.
Yes, absolutely precisely. Actually, I wouldn't even cut this one just to see that something got wrong with this one.
Yes.
I'm not ashamed to show that because it happened. So they have to make it again. And this happened because something, it was not stick enough, and so the operator has to do again this.
And this is something which is responsibility in the end, because I think in some other cases people would have just could have been that they could have left it there, but here we actually corrected the mistake, so that's very important.
Yeah, it's very important. We take care, and people around here have to say, I'm not saying because it's people I'm working with, I don't trust them completely.
Yes.
They know exactly what to do, and in some cases, if something has to be done again,
it's going to be redone.
Yeah.
That's important. Same as the sail factory, you know, I was there.
It happens,
and sometimes the panels get crushed, or they're mistaken to just replace them as well. So just Claudio behind the scene just told me how headache it is to put a sticker on the mast.
Well, I haven't used heavy. I use the Italian slang to amplify the hard work in doing it. I mean, it's something. It's a manual work. It's a labor work. So we have all the. She has all the references, the numbers of stickers. I have to say that your mast is one of the most complex masts to aesthetically do, because there are numbers of stickers, the center sticker, the base, and is a challenging thing for them. They have to be placed exactly where they have to be. Any mistakes at this stage means redo everything again, and yes, you have to be very precise, and it takes quite a lot of time. 370. Yeah. And this is just the base.
But she was fast, she was good.
Yeah, but in any case, you see that there is the number precision. We have to make them in a way that looks nice.
Yes.
Because at the end we are making a good product. Is everything black? So adding a little bit of nice things is not a bad thing.
No.
Serial number, identification number.
So now she's putting over the paper, over the...
Yes. To handle it.
To handle it. So the machine can actually do 2 masts at one time?
Exactly.
All right.
This is one of the first things I should have told you, because it's like, we make it. I forgot about it. You pointed out, yes. And so now the sticker is embedded inside the carbon. You want fade, you want... and I have to say that even the technology of stickers is quite important and difficult, especially in Europe, where we have a number of limitations with the inks, and let's say that in Far East they have more freedom to produce different label with different inks. We are not really, we are quite strict in that scenario as well in this area.
Yes, and actually the stickers are not just stickers; they are stamped on a special
they are
material.
special. Actually, look, when we started doing very nice stickers, it was in the middle of 2000. We went to a lot of manufacturers, and we bumped into the Formula One Red Bull sticker makers, and they couldn't withstand, especially the temperature that were in the oven, because they were just changing color, they were hueing, all sort of things. So we have identified a few numbers of producers, and they are the only one that can make stickers that they do not change color during production with higher temperature and high pressure, and maintain the color as it is. This is in action, yes, where the polypropylene is made, is one of your products. Of course, it has already the stickers that has been applied.
Because the stickers in the windsurfing mast is actually placed before the final product, right?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Because the stickers actually would wear out.
Yes.
With the camber,
absolutely.
so with the mast leaf. So, yeah.
And this is the final stage where the polypropylene is applied, as I told you.
Yes.
And this is just before the mandrel is taken and put in the autoclave to have their cooking moment.
Yes.
Which takes a number of hours.
Now 2 hours. So Claudio, these are the masts which are now being wrapped and stick. They are the stickers, and practically there's still the mandrel, of course,
yes,
inside, and they're ready to
go in the cooking
in the oven.
In the oven, yes.
Not the pizza oven.
No, not the pizza one. Yes. And we put them, and we see them in the other department. We will put them in autoclave, where again this is something like a really, I wouldn't say it's a secret, but every company, I think, have their own recipes. We know our product, how many mass or product you can put inside an oven, because there is a limit on that. Air has to circulate freely. It has to maintain a certain temperature which is constant all around the autoclave for a given time. There is a ramp. You cannot just put them inside and switch it on 0-100. It's not a race against the time.
No.
And this is also expertise. How long it takes to reach the temperature where it has to stay for a few hours, at what temperature, and then the cooling down. And after the cooling down, we take them out and we put it in the curing in the oven. So it's quite a long process. To make a mast, I would say that it takes 10 hours. Of course, we don't make one, but it's a long process.
Yes, sure. So 10 hours is it's not short time anyway.
No.
And here we see behind the mandrels.
Yeah, the mandrels. This is just a small part of what we have.
What you have.
If you all around it's
I
mandrels.
can see a lot of them around everywhere. Yes, exactly.
They are for masts, for fishing pole, for ski poles, for tube application in boats. We just make some application there.
Right. So let's go to. So we go now to the cooking.
To the cooking. Yes. The pizza maker. We are in the baking factory here where the cookies are made. We have what we call the mast and the mandrel are hanged up on this, what we call a hat. And this is put inside the autoclave first, where they have their period of pressure and temperature.
So here it's not only baking, it's actually cooking, let's say.
Yes, it's cooking,
It's cooking, but it's also pressure being put in.
Yes, autoclave, the point is to...
Because often I heard that some producers are just putting heat on them and not really putting pressure into them.
No, we do many things. As you have seen, we put the polypropylene to squash everything out.
Yes.
Then we put in the autoclave.
Which this is something important, because from what I've seen now is also that often I was measuring in the past masts made by other factories, and when you turn the mast around, you often have also different curves. But in Reglass case, we actually have the mast which have the same curve. Doesn't matter how much or where you turn the mast, because a lot of clients are like putting the mast always in the same position, in the same line, to make sure that the base and the top are always aligning the same. But I'm not doing this
personally, I just put the mast into each other. I know the curve is the same, and it doesn't matter how I turn around, it's always working the rest
Yes,
of the way.
it's true. This for sure helps.
Yes.
But there are some
Other
things
things
to
which-
do this.
to do this,
in
yes.
the project. Yes.
Yes.
But this helps, of course, because
Yes.
that gives a constant cooking and polymerization all along the mast in a
Yes.
very solid way.
Yes.
This is something that, of course,
So
other they do.
Yes, but so it's not this which is actually helping us to just put the mast into each other in every direction.
It helps.
It helps.
It
Okay.
helps.
Yeah, that's
It helps,
that's nice.
yeah. Then
We keep that
we have
secret.
the oven,
Yes.
and after that, that period, we just go to the really final stage, where the mandrel from, let's say, is getting out from the oven.
How many masts are fitting in the autoclave?
Where we can put them numbers 20, 25.
So also in the oven in the end.
Yes. We could put more, but it's also a question of making the space for the air to circulate freely inside.
So here what's happening? Practically
Yeah.
the mast is this one. It looks like
Well-
aluminium, but it's not.
No, it's not. This is polypropylene, of course,
Propylene,
and this
yes.
is a pole actually.
Okay.
Fishing pole.
Okay.
The first of all, this is this manual operation, like the snake skin is taken out, and the mandrel. This is an extraction. Has been extracted. The mandrel stay there, and the actual product is still here.
All right.
So, in underneath it, there is the real carbon.
Carbon,
so
yes.
This thing has to be taken out manually again.
Yes.
So
So now she puts them together.
together, and then we go to another place in the company where they will peeled off.
Yes. So the mandrel are actually coming out very clean.
Yeah, but they are clean after every single operation. They are clean, and we check also, because past experience taught in the hard way, that if there is a scratch on the surface that you might not even notice because of the uses of everything, you can produce numbers of masts that are defective or product defective, because which is very important is the mandrel is clean and checked every single time, and there is a person dedicated to that. We move to the peeling off. It's not that interesting, but shows that again we have another manual operation to perform, and this is something delicate. I tried to do that and I ruined, I think, all the things I've touched, because you have to peel this with a cutter.
Yes. So you also
Paying attention not to scratch the surface.
I just thought that.
I tried that. Disaster.
Disaster. Yes.
Disaster. Total disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and it can ruin everything, because the mast here or the product is already at its final stage.
Yes.
So if you ruin it, it's
It's done.
over.
Yes.
So you have to throw it away. And this is the almost finished product.
Yes.
In case of our mast, there is another operation which after that includes to glue into the base the ferrule,
The ferrule.
which is the next last step before we enter into the testing machine,
Testing machine.
where the masts are tested.
The ferrule is one of the main important things
Yes.
in the mast as well.
Yeah.
It's not something that just connects the mast together.
I would say that among the material selection and expertise and knowledge that we have, the ferrule, it's 65-70% of the importance in a mast, in how it works.
Yes.
There are many types of many types. There are different ways of make a ferrule. We make it with.
Let's see it when we see the ferrule.
when
Let's
we
keep
see
it
the ferrule.
later for
Let's keep
later.
it, yes. But this is a huge
argument.
Yes.
So Claudio, once they have been unwrapped, practically the mast is ready, or is there still some steps to do?
Well, now the mast is ready, has to be checked in the testing machine.
Yes.
After the test in the testing machine and the combination to see everything is okay, there are no problems, yes, it goes to packaging.
Is there some cutting which needs to be done, or sanding, or
well, cutting, of course, and cleaning. When after peeling off the material, the product, it has to be cut at the exact length, and after, the most important one of the things is to glue the ferrule inside.
the ferrule.
Yes.
So in this case, so this is what has to be glued inside.
Yes, and the length is exactly the double.
The double.
So it's like the same thing.
Same thing. And what else is behind the ferrule?
Well, one of the things I think, actually, I know we are renowned for, is the combination of the ferrule, the insertion. It's very precise. We have no compromise in that. We are the tolerance of the two parts are very, very thin. Now we are talking about tenths, less than tenths. And if you take it out, you can feel it. When you take out one of our masts, it's pop out like a champagne bottle.
Yes.
And this is because we want to have the maximum adherence of the two surfaces. We do not want them
that mast, that is the top that is moving on the base, or
no,
vice versa,
absolutely. Yes. This leads to sometimes to somebody say, I have my mast stuck together, and this is it could happen more often on our mast because it's very tight. But the point is not that we have to make. Some of our customers asked to make it looser.
Yes.
No. The thing is that you have just to clean it. You pass your finger here. If it's black,
you need to clean it before inserting. And also the cap that you're using, which is with the rubber here, is actually, when you insert, is actually already cleaning a little bit, so it's getting safe.
Yes, absolutely. But if you store it, for example, during the winter, you take it out, say, okay, I haven't been in the water, so it's okay. No,
check
powder,
first.
check first.
And often also we go to beaches where it's very dusty, and we might leave the mast even 10 seconds, 20 seconds on the beach.
That's
the dust goes inside. You maybe do this also, but you don't see it because it maybe goes all the way in.
Yes.
And once you're sailing, it's actually all the dust or sand is coming.
And you are working in a very sealed environment, let's say, less absence of oxygen, heat, and everything, and that can really create problems on that.
So always check that the mast inside is clean before inserting the two parts.
Yes, it's absolutely. And after, I do it as a normal procedure. When I finish windsurfing, I just pass a little bit of fresh water and I clean the ferrule and I clean the inside, and that's it. I take care of my mast because I pay them, although I make them, I have to pay them.
Yes, in the end, it's parts too. I mean, the better you treat your equipment, the better it treats you back.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how it is. And this is like a high technology carbon product.
Yes.
So you have to take care as it should be.
Yes.
It's not epoxy or aluminum.
No. This is pure 100% carbon.
Carbon,
this
custom.
Is a very important part.
Nice. Yes. So sometimes we have clients saying that their mast is bending.
Yes.
But it's not the mast which is bending. It's more like the ferrule, which is kind of moving inside the base or inside the top according to where the ferrule is glued. And when we actually see that it's not straight, client might get worried because they see a strong curvature, but when you actually measure that it's done in a 460 length, it's not much, first of all.
No, we're talking about a very
small percentage.
Yes.
And I mean, I've been testing the masts which were bending, and I actually like that the ferrule is bending because it's actually giving a better curve, a better feeling once it's inside the sail. It's like the curve is more natural, and I've been testing ferrules which were actually one piece to the base, and we're actually not giving the same performance. And due to the fact that we got a lot of questions, the mast is bent like this, we thought to go back to having the ferrule to be one piece with the base. But when we were testing, the results were not as good as it was glued. So can you tell us a bit more about this?
Yeah, we started making masts, so we started the business, we know it.
Yes.
And the first masts were actually made, as you said, so in the, we are talking about 2000, we were working, it was a solid piece.
Yes.
That gave the perception of having a more rigid mast, because it's true, but the question is, do you want to have a leg which is rigid, or you want to have a certain flexibility on the knees? This is actually the same thing. After testing and after having the feedback, having a certain freedom of movement is very limited, because even as you said, if you measure the percentage of this curve is limited, you worry because say, my mast is bent, is going to explode.
Is there a break? It's not going to work as before.
No. It works. It works just perfect.
Yes.
It's like, it's like your T-shirt. If I give my T-shirt to you, it fits you. When you give it back to me, it won't fit me.
No,
because
exactly.
it made the sail where it goes.
Yes.
So and this is the perfect combination. Actually, what I think that this allows the sail to breathe. You don't want to have a sail that moves in rapid and sudden movement. He has to be a movement, the freedom.
Has to breathe, the freedom.
Has to breathe.
And this is actually the integrated rig. And I have this feeling as well when we tried, for example, booms, which are very stiff. They were not allowing the sail to breathe because they were stiffer. So the mast was not forgiving. The boom was not actually like having that kind of small reflex and movement. And that was blocking and killing the performance of the mast and the performance of the whole rig.
Absolutely. 100%.
So that is what you're saying is confirming what I felt also on the water.
Yes.
Because in the end, actually, sometimes when I see that the mast is bent on one side, I just turn it to the other side because for cosmetics look, it will go back straight. But in the end, I feel on the water that the first 5 minutes the sail is not working good because the ferrule has to bend to the other side, and then it starts working well again. So I really believe in this bending of the ferrule.
Yes, it is something that you do not have to worry at all.
At all, no.
If the mast breaks, it doesn't break for that.
No, for sure
for
not.
Sure.
For sure not. No, exactly.
This is the stiffness of the mast, and these numbers are percentage. You should read
exactly.
the 65.5% and 75.5%. And what are percentage of? These numbers are the distance measured under the 30 kilo that you have at 1/4 and on the top at 3/4 compared to the length that you have at the center. So it means that at 1/4 you have 63.5% with respect to the total length arrows that you have here in the middle. The same applies at 3/4. At 3/4 you have 73.5% with respect to the numbers that you have here. Now the difference gives you a number that can be between 8 and 19. If these numbers, the difference is between 12 and 15, we call it constant mast. Now this is a 460 centimeter. You only have 3 points. You can pass many curves here. So the idea would be to have a perfect mast, to put other points. Someone did it, but it's pointless actually, because as you said rightly, a mast is not loaded into a sail like this, so it's very little use for a sail maker. The values that are made in they are taken out from the machine are displayed in the screen, where the operator can see very precisely if everything is okay. For example, you can see here that you have numbers, but instead of having 63.5, it's 63.64. Now, just one precision.
It's 0.1.
Yes, but in any case, if it were, let's say 65, so let's say
quite big difference. Yes,
it's half millimeter.
Yes, half millimeter.
It's
so
nothing.
It's nothing. Yes,
it's nothing.
So 1 millimeter is actually a 0.5 of a
this is the
percentage.
This is the weak point, because we are measuring at 30 kilos, and things change a lot when you load it at the proper weight, which is way much.
Yeah, in the end, when we are testing masts on the water, you're sending us also the curves of each mast, so that when we go in the water, we have a small reference. But then it's like the 0.1, you don't actually feel it. You could feel when it's like 0.5 of 1.5 of the difference, you actually feel it, but it's not the 1.5 of the difference. It could be just the general mass being different. So,
yes, absolutely.
So it's like also when we are requesting to you a mast, we are not actually telling you we need this curve with this. We actually work on a general concept of a mast, which needs to be forgiving in a stronger wind, it needs to be more powerful than light wind, and we work through. And then the result of what we have on the mast is actually what we have felt on the sail, and what on the water, and what we have developed together. So.
And this is one of the advantage. I'm not saying that because you're here. Yes, of course, I tell you because you're here. But working with some professional, that someone that knows, that makes and use the thing, the feedback is more immediate.
Yes.
There are sales makers. We are working at that. They are just concentrated on numbers. I just want a 63.1, and they get maniac if that is.
It's not the
I mean, it's not the correct way. It might lead you to a loop of consequences.
It's like on the other round, you know, we might find from another brand or another manufacturer the numbers that we are kind of using, and you might think it's the same mast. Then you go on the water, and the mast is already on the beach when you rig it. You see that it's completely a different sail.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't have the profile you want to see. It doesn't have the opening of the leech you want to see. And on the water, it can be a disaster, even if the numbers themselves are the same.
Are the same. Yes.
Are the same. As you say, it's different material, different manufacturing, the climate difference. I mean, you explained it all during our tour now here.
Yes.
So
I totally agree with that.
yes.
And the reason also I designed and I made someone else to do it, but I have designed a machine that is not actually here. This is under repair, where we tested a numbers of masts exactly how they rig. So it's a machine where I put the mast in vertical position. There is a pulley that bent the mast from the top.
Yes.
And pulls as a normal sail would do. And you can see that the curves, even with the same numbers, in different masts can be completely different. The diameter, the selection of material, the ferrule, all these things can give you a different shape. And these shapes has to match with your given sail, which is made with a certain fabric that you know.
Yes.
And in the end, we are again in this thing that things have to match together.
Absolutely.
To mate, and this is
the
the most
material
important.
sails are actually pushing. It's not only aerodynamics, but it's also the flex of the materials with
Yes.
the mast.
Yes.
So the wind is pushing on the materials of the sail, and this is actually pushing the mast to have a reflex, to open, to work. And if the materials of the sails are different, even with the same design, they're not going to have that power to push the mast to work with the leech.
And the mast works also, since there is a push on the sail, there is a pull as well, because aerodynamics works on that. And you have the sail that really distorts the mast. So it's not only a longitudinal movement, it's a torsion as well.
Exactly.
And that is, again, how do you combine your material?
Materials, yes. Materials of the mast and materials of the sail.
Yes, of course.
So in the end, it's like, that's why we're always pushing clients, you know, to buy the right mast for the right sail. And often they're just like, yeah, but it's 100% mast. Yes, but it doesn't mean anything.
You ate a pizza.
What do you need a yes again? Do I need a constant curve? Yes, it's a constant curve, but the constant curve is just saying that the car is a diesel.
Yes, it is too generic.
Too generic. Yes. So let me present you Alex. Alex is the technician behind the production of the windsurfing masts. And so tell me 3 things which make Reglass mast special compared to what you think is on the market at the moment.
The first one, obviously, is the quality. So we are checking every step of our process and every mast we are going to put in the market. This is the first one. The second one, R&D. Every month we are testing new materials to improve the specs of a mast. I think is the history. We are producing mast till 30 years, 40 years. So we have a long history which make us the best Italian supplier at the moment.
Final step. We are where you measure the mast, and here we have the packaging section.
Yes.
Let's say. So
the easy part.
The easy part. So practically, you're putting the mast into the mast bags, cartons.
Yes.
Shipment.
Yes.
And then it's up to us to use them on the water.
It's done.
It's done.
Yes.
Nice, very nice, Claudio. Any more advices about the masts that you might think of? Like, for example, the durability, the life of a mast.
Well, this is actually this is a good question because everybody's concerned. Or I've friends, some fellows that say, I have my mast since 10 years, and you're very good because your mast withstand 10 years. This is the good news from one side, but the other thing is that carbon is like a spring. This thing works like a spring. If you take a spring and you pull it and push it or make it work, at the end of the day, it will lose the performances that has the beginning. Everything is degrades. So if you want to keep your material up to the certain level, if you are competing, if you want to invest a little bit, you have to be, let's say, if you get out every day, 100 days, your mast is almost gone. Gone doesn't mean that you have to throw it.
Yes, 100 days, so it could be like one of my seasons.
Yes,
say.
one of your seasons from a professional.
Professional, yes. Let's say I use a mast every year, one size, maybe 80 to 100 times.
Yes,
so
it could be 2-3 years.
2
years, I would say. But after 2 years, I would think about changing it.
Changing it. Yes.
Changing for the new sails. I know that the new sails are. I love them because they're flashy, they're new. It's like a suit, you know.
Yes.
That what defines you. A mast doesn't define you because it's hidden.
Yes.
But at the actually, the two things, as we said many times, they have to work in combination together.
Yes.
So, okay, you can change your sail, but it would be nice to change the mast as well. Also the mast.
After a couple of years for a normal user,
yes,
you would change
yes,
it.
absolutely, we would
so
change
when
the
warranty
coatis.
period is almost to the
yes,
end, it would be also good to
just,
yes. Yeah, well, what you say is right, because in the end, you know, I have the same feeling on the booms, for example, on the sail itself. So it's like the masts, you know, I have some masts which are older, you know, and when I use them with the sail, which is maybe also older, and boom, which is older, it still works. It feels very comfortable because everything starts to become very soft. Yes. So it's actually like
it's normal. That's normal.
Know, but the thing is that when I'm comparing myself to another rider who has new stuff, you know, we get into a gust, and I see the person with the new gear is just accelerating, and the older mast, the older boom is like getting softer, so the reflex is actually dead. And when I just change one of the two components, I immediately see
the difference.
Yeah. So often for testing, I might have older masts, but for racing, I always have like a mast that I keep on the side for racing. Not because it's better, it's just newer, so the reflex is
newer.
better.
Yes.
And so what you say is exactly right. Yes. Interesting. And how about, you know, a lot of clients are also telling me often by mail, oh, I just need a, you know, I don't need a high percentage mast, or I don't need a proper mast for the sail, like what we were talking already before, you know, they're like, I'm not so good, so I don't need the latest, or I don't need the exact mast, the exact boom. What do you say to this?
I would say that now we are touching a sensitive question about the money that you want to invest, but if you can, invest always on the top that you can afford it. Especially, I'm saying, since we all went through this, when your girlfriend wants to start, your children, just give them the best you can afford it, because especially at the beginning, this is a very consuming, all parts broken. It's when you have something lighter, especially at the beginning when you have so many things to learn in this sport, it helps a lot. So if you are not a good surfer, and if you can, just give yourself the best you can. So you know exactly what doesn't work. It's you. Yes. So you have to go on the water. You cannot say, but it's just you. So it depends how much time you can invest on the sport, how much you care about it. But if you can, the best material affordable.
In the end, if you're comfortable, once you're on the water, it's also better to improve, because you can focus more on the learning the jibe, for example, than actually trying to keep everything under control, because it's pulling left
the weight and it pulls in the wrong way. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
This is what would be my top suggestion for every sport.
And let's say that if you would have to advise to buy 100% carbon mast of something that you don't know where it's coming from, or a 77% mast from the brand of the sail that you're going to buy, what would you advise?
I wouldn't even think twice. This is for this sport. I do other sports. It's the same for me. I trust the brand, and I trust that this brand is doing a good job for me. Reputation of the brand is very important, and when there is someone that is so take so much attention to details, to the latest details. I just put myself into the hands, and I prefer to start maybe a little bit lower on the brand that I know that going to something that is top, but actually is always a little bit less expensive. And since no one gives you anything for free today, especially today, there is a reason for that.
Yes, exactly. All right, Claudio. I think we went through the whole production of the mast in the factory. It was very interesting also for me that I've been here before and actually know, but we went through a lot of details, which was very nice to hear.
Yes.
And I'm sure our viewers will be very happy of your introduction to this product. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to meet you again.
And let's keep going.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.